Hi everyone, and welcome to another cosmic forecast. We had a full moon in Aquarius in the last degree yesterday. The moon is moving on into Pisces. We are also having the sun coming into Virgo and Virgo season. We're going to use human design and gene keys to explain all these different astrological transits that are going on. So let me share the screen with you. So this is the neutrino weather right now. And as you see, like I was saying yesterday, we had a full moon, which is when the sun and the moon are opposed to each other. We had it in 29 and in 30. So this is the high frequency of devotion and rapture, or lightness and commitment. And now, like I said, the moon has moved on in Pisces, and it's right now conjunct with Neptune. So I feel there can be this kind of dreamy, veiled state that can be emotional, where we either are kind of delusional or illusional in what we feel, or we can also maybe not really know. It's a 22 and it's a 6 line in Neptune, and it's right now a second line in the moon. But as we know, the moon is moving really fast. So it's going to pass Neptune actually today. But there is something here where you also see there is opposition to Mercury on the other side. And I remember when we had the square, when we have Mercury retrograde last time, where we could feel this, where we have the reason, we have the logic, we have the mind here in Mercury, and then we have the mystical, the intuition, the things that we can't prove in Neptune, and how when they are either squaring or in opposition, we kind of feel those two sides in ourselves that can pull on us, or we can represent one of the sides and have the other take a completely different side. And you also see, I mean, now we're speaking about the way that they are, but also looking at where they're at. We have Virgo, where Mercury is really happy because it has that kind of detailed, practical, it wants to improve. And then Neptune is, and the moon, they're kind of happy here in Pisces, that it's much more poetic and much more out there. So having those two planets that are happy in the sign that they're in, and at the same time this opposition with Pisces and Virgo, Mercury and Neptune energy, and that's especially strong today. We're going to have Mercury, I believe, move on here as well. So the 47 and the 22 are activated right now. And as we see, we're starting to have more planets coming in here in Virgo. We have the sun in the 51 since almost 2 days now, and we have Mars in the 64 and Mercury in the 47. So looking at where we have the 64, we see that right now we have this whole channel. So this is an abstract channel. It's not logical, it's abstract. It's here to see, acknowledge abstract patterns that aren't even available for everybody to see. And then based on that, it comes with, it understands things that not everybody understand, I would say, and more in a gene key sense. There really, when we look at the 2212, we have this kind of artist and poetry in here, and the same thing here, as we're transmuting some of those things that aren't allowing us to be alive, that doesn't allow us to be creative. That's when we open up the alchemist in the 47 and we open up the artist in the 64. We have imagination here. We have this kind of transmutation or alchemy in the 47. So all that is activated and is here in Virgo. And for me, the Virgo is a lot of priestess energy. So tuning into that priestess energy and going deep into the body and feeling the current of energy that's there, and even down to the sexual energy that we have very much in the 59, and also of course in the 55, which is where the Earth is now. And what else? Well, we still have those two big, Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius, and they're both connected here to what's happening, what I believe is happening in the emotional center, and some of that mutation, some of that purification. We're coming out of following those denser energies and the lower frequencies that can be codependence, can be just following our desire, but actually never feel satiated. How do you say that? Never feel like we get enough. There is a lot of openness in the chart still. And the only, like we said, the only channel that is defined. So what are the patterns that are so abstract so you haven't been able to even see them play out before? Now with all this Virgo energy, I do believe that there is a discernment to look at some of these things and to find a new way to both to transmute old patterns, but also a new way that works better. And still a lot of curiosity. We have the North Node in Gemini in the 16. So a lot of curiosity, a lot of naturalness in how we express ourselves is what I feel. And what else is alive for us? I mean, I really feel like what we are going into now, it's this part of the wheel where it's about relationships. So in Leo, and where we also had that conjunction in the beginning of the 4 between Mars and Venus, like a month or two ago, that was activating love, empowerment, feminine, masculine, more in harmony. Ever since we kind of have been, I believe we have been infused with love and creativity and playfulness in Leo. And that is, we kind of needed to recharge those batteries, because now we're going into those, to the season that has a lot to do with relationships. So we'll speak about this in a sense of Codon Rings. This is the Ring of Union where we've been. So more inner guidance, more understanding and forgiveness, more devotion and commitment, and possibly a new way of looking at sexuality, looking at intimacy. All that is our dynamics that we've been able to look at the last weeks. And now we're going into this Codon Ring of Alchemy, where we have to become aware of those patterns where things don't work, where they are not good for our health. And having Mars and Mercury here, I believe with that Mars, it can be a bit reactive, it can be a bit immature, it can be in our communication, a little bit kind of heated, that we want to watch out for that kind of behavior, that kind of expression. And it's all about finding peace, not in a kind of false diplomacy, but really more in the depth of what is here to alchemize in our relationships. And then after that, we're moving into this even deeper Codon Ring, the Codon Ring of matter. And this is the Codon Ring that is coding all of the Venus sequence. So we're going to have the 57 that codes the core, and then the 9 months in the womb. We're going to have the 48 that codes the 7 first years, I believe. Yeah. And then the 46 is coding the next 7 years from 7 to 14. And then the 18 is coding the next 7 years from 14 to 21. So from before we were born, when we're swimming in our mother's womb, all the way up to 18, we see that we have those keys. And this is the imprinting that happens on a cellular level, that happens on a physical level, that happens on an emotional level, an intellectual level, that happened before we were even a whole human being, when we were very much living in symbiosis with our mom. So all that is coming. And Libra also has to do with that harmony or disharmony with the other. So the scales, if they are in harmony or not with the other, which includes our parents, our family, but also all kinds of partnerships that we are in. And then we go into the next Codon Ring. Or actually, it's funny how they are kind of zigzag. So we have the 50 and the 44, which is the Codon Ring of the Illuminati, and then the 28 and the 32, which is the Codon Ring of illusion. So then we go even deeper into Scorpio, and there are some things that are going to have to die. There are some things that we're here to weed out. We're going to be able to feel what's corrupt, what's in harmony. We're going to be able to meet that panic of it's never going to be better. We're always going to fail somehow. Like there's a lot to face here in Scorpio, where we're going deep, deep, deep into transformation. And all this is, from what I see, so that then in Sagittarius, we can come back to new ideal. We can come back to kind of optimism. And of course, the South Node is still going to be here. So we want to be a little bit careful to not be over optimistic, to not kind of continue to seek the truth. That's going to be, as long as the nodes are like this, we're always wanting to look at this Gemini truth seeker, and not just, like I said, be overly fiery, overly kind of like expansive, but more have that vision to see what's really true. So that's what I see for the coming months. So that's Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, the 3 next month. And then still when we come into the optimism and this expansion of Sagittarius, which is where we have Jupiter as ruler, we still want to be a little bit careful to not get carried away. And some of these gene keys kind of can get carried away when we look at the energy that we have in the 34, which is sacral. The 9 is also sacral. The 5 is also sacral. So a lot of energy here. And then this is the Codon Ring of light. So we're going to feel a different energy when we come in here, but like I said, we still want to kind of remember what we learned here, so that we don't just keep on with that expansive energy, and we don't allow the integration of the things that happened the month before. Yeah, so that's what I can see in the charts right now for this coming period. Thank you so much.